Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Dateable, a show all about modern dating where we get intimate with each other and get to the bottom. See, that is pretty intimate. We get to the bottom of why people do the things that they do. I'm feeling extra sexy today because I'm in this new mic setup and I'm leaning over a bed with my feet on my dog's bed.
I might need you to back up because you're a little too intimate right now.
I'm like, I'm a little too
We're
into this
getting some
mic.
thumping noise.
And if you can watch this on our YouTube, it's so phallic. I mean, the Blue Yeti mics are
Oh,
just
it's so phallic.
ginormous penises. And whenever someone else uses it, we make fun of them. But now I'm using mine. It's a big white penis in front of my face. It like literally covers my whole mouth.
It really
And every time I look at it, I'm like, how do you fit that? How do you even?
Do you think whoever made the Blue Yeti was just like, we are going to produce these and watch all these podcasters with this super phallic thing in their mouth and just laugh every
Yeah,
time?
it's just a joke because the actual mic is probably like 1/10 the size, and they just put this big phallic penis over it
Well,
as a case.
if yours is phallic, mine's a micro penis.
Yeah, you got a micro penis.
This is like the extra push to come on YouTube because you'll see the differences in sizes of these two mics. You and I are actively, remote podcasting. It works, then there's always a hiccup. So for all the people out there that do podcasts on your own, you probably are feeling us. If you don't, there's a lot of work that goes into podcasting that people are unaware of. So
This is just pure hilarity because I've got my both of my hands wrapped around mine. And Julie, you can probably fit that little thing
oh, I
in like
could
the
definitely deep
pinky.
throat this thing.
Oh, whoa. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. She just said she could totally deep throat her mic while
Not
I
that I
can barely
will,
lick
not that I
mine.
will, but yeah, yours is. I couldn't do that one. That's for sure.
I had a friend in high school who gave a blowjob for the first time ever, but apparently his penis is so big. She had a bunch of broken uh blood blisters in her mouth. Like her whole mouth was just blistered and bloody. Like, what? Is that possible? But that was her first experience of giving a
Wow.
blowjob.
That will
So
make you never want to do that again. That's for sure.
I'm pretty sure she's never
Did
given
she have
another
the Blue
blowjob.
Yeti?
Yeah, right. She's like, it was like a metal tasting thing. That was a microphone, honey. But this thing is pure hilarity. And I mean, like for anybody who's ever done podcasting or sound anything, I'm sure you've gone through all kinds of equipment just from 5 years of doing the show. I think we've recycled through like 6, 7 different mics, Julie, like different mic
Yeah,
setups, recording setups. I don't even know how many mics we have at this point.
it's a lot, but
We're still trying to find the one, it's just like
yep, it's
dating.
just like dating. Gotta find the one, but yeah,
It's either the micro penis or the huge penis.
nothing in between.
Yeah, this is no Goldilocks here, bitches. It's just either big or small. But this week, okay, so let's get to updates from this week since nothing crazy happened. I guess we should make up our own. Julie's mic just fell on her boob. She was just, what is that? Like, that's not motorboating,
It's
but
like titty fucking,
titty
right?
fucking. That's it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I know we're digressing here. We were like, we're going to keep this intro really short, but no,
Nope,
this is
nope.
going to go for 5 hours. When you did that, it reminded me because, again, back in high school, all these thoughts. My friend had really big tits and she was able to titty fuck a lot. And I was really jealous because I can't even put a pencil in between my boobs. So I can't like your micro penis in front of me, Julie. I can't titty fuck that. But I was kind of jealous of what you just did there.
I feel like is that even a thing anymore? I feel like that like
Right.
when's the last time you heard anyone mention that term? Like
High
never.
school.
High school, right?
It really was
It's
high
like
school.
box. It went out with window with the word box.
I also like to hear from the men. Does titty fucking actually feel good or is it just visually pleasing? Because they're like your
Probably
titties
visually.
aren't like wet or
Yeah, and
anything.
also like realistically, boobs aren't that close together that it would be giving any circulation at
Right.
all. It's probably
Yeah.
just a visual thing.
I think it's just going to be a lot of chafing, if anything
Yeah.
else. Titty fucking question of 2020.
That's the question of 2020.
That's the question of 2020. Of everything that's happened this year, what we really like to know, get to the bottom of is titty fucking still a thing? If it
Uh,
is, please share your experience. Do you lube up your tits first? Do you lube him up first? Do you have to lick it first? I don't know. Like there's gotta be some lubrication, you know?
well, now that we're talking about all this thing, maybe we should make our announcement up front and then we can get into the week.
I
But
love it. Julie's such a producer. She's like, listen, we still have an agenda. I don't know why. It's because I'm holding this thing with both my hands. I just want to talk about sex. Everything I'm thinking about right now is just sex. I'm like, what
well,
announcements?
that's what got me thinking about our announcement. So we're doing
It's
a
a sex.
lot. We're doing a live stream. We haven't done one in a while. We're going to do a private one in our Facebook group. So we're going to have the ability to ask all sorts of questions. So if you do want to know about titty fucking or any other questions, like
Yes.
we can answer it. That's the tie back here.
There you go. It all goes back to sex. We are doing this live stream. There may be some live titty fucking going on too, but not
That
real.
will get us kicked off Facebook.
But that will get us views. Whatever gets us views these days, we're willing to do. Not with our own titties, but like, you know, someone will volunteer. But that is one of the topics we are addressing, among many other things like newest dating terms that we've never heard of. We're going to get to the bottom of those. We may be introducing some surprise guests from our Facebook community who wanted to say a quick hi. We are unveiling something big, bigger
And
than
it's
titty fucking.
bigger than the Blue Yeti.
Bigger than the Blue Yeti. You're going to need like 4 mouths for this to really consume what's about to happen. But we do have a big announcement, something Julie and I have been working on together with our friend Louise. We're really excited about this. We've looked for every excuse to create more content and to create more community. And I think we unlocked the key to that. I unlocked
Yeah.
the door, key to
Or
unlock,
just
you know what I mean.
yeah, like helping. I mean, I was talking to one of our members today and she was like, Shieldy, we'll give her a shout out, Shieldy, one of
Love
our hosts in our
Shieldy.
group. And she was like, I met my boyfriend because of you guys.
Yeah, she did.
And
Well,
not
but
even
really?
just, yeah, that's what she was saying. But also, I think it was like the fact that, it just like gave her confidence and, just showed her like there's different perspectives. She kept saying is like, now I
Mhm.
don't think about things so linearly. But also, not only did she meet a boyfriend, but she like met her people that she hangs out
Friends.
with that she's like, this is like a legit family that I look forward to seeing every single Thursday. So yeah, that's a firsthand testimonial here of how we're changing lives every day and how we're going to continue to change lives.
And Shieldy has changed my life. I don't normally wear lipstick, but I'm wearing lipstick today because I thought of Shieldy. And every time I see her in happy hour, she's got this beautiful bright red lipstick on. It's just so sexy and noticeable that I decided to rock my own today. So thank you,
There you
Shieldy.
go.
You've changed my life. I may still be in pajamas, but I'm rocking that lipstick because of you. Thank
Well,
you.
the good news is with Zoom, no one knows if you're in pajamas. You can show up to our live stream, you could be in your pajamas, but yeah, our live stream is going to be this coming Thursday at 5:30. It's going to start roughly at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, so 8:30 Eastern
Mhm.
time. So if you are not already in the Facebook group, this is the
Now's
final
the
call. No, it's not the
time.
final call,
Final
but you
call.
can do.
We're closing
We're
Facebook.
closing
Thank
it
you.
forever. Well, after our titty fucking, they might close us, but
It's
no,
educational.
it is never the final call, but you should get in here because people love it. We had a bunch of new people that joined last week that like said
Mhm.
how amazing the community is. And it can be all levels. Like some people are just lurkers and they say, like, hey, I
Mhm.
haven't actually posted much, but I love this. I look forward to reading everything every day. And then some people are like actively at every happy hour. So you can do you and pick what works for you. There's something for everyone here, and there's going to be something for everyone in what we will be unveiling on Thursday.
And a huge selling point of our group, Julie, I think it's that you don't have to be single. In fact, we have a
No,
lot of people who aren't single, they're in relationships. People just want to talk about love. They want to talk about connection.
exactly.
And
And
it's a great place for it.
right now, too, all the rules have changed. Like we were already
Yeah.
saying there's no rules before COVID, but now, like, who the fuck knows what's going on? Like, if you're dating, if you're in a relationship, everything's different. Like, I actually, so I shared this last week that I had my
Yes, we want to
first
know your
socially
update.
distance date this week, and it was a success. I don't know if things will I don't know if this is like my person or we're going to continue, but I had a good fun. I had a good time. And that's really all you can ask from a date. Like we went to a bar, we sat outside, so I did not go on a walk for anyone
I know
curious.
that was going to be my question. Did you go on a walk?
Well, I already knew we weren't going on a walk before, but
Okay, good.
and he was really good at picking the location. And what is actually ironic, I didn't realize this until I was walking there, is my last date before the pandemic shutdown was at the same bar. So it has like literally come full circle. And I don't know if you all remember, but I shared how that was
I
like one of
remember.
the worst dates of my life. And I actually think I might have underplayed how bad it was. Like this guy got very grabby and like, I don't want to use the word rapey, but a little like intense. Like I actually was scared after this date. And this is not something that's happened to me. So I think when I was talking about it the first time, I don't think I fully even like processed what happened, but it was just not okay. But this new date was very, very respectable, like very, very respectful. We had
And
great
respectable.
and respectable. All the R's. And then
Not
we,
rapey though. No,
not really,
not that
maybe
R.
not all the R's actually.
Just the good R's.
The good R's only. But yeah, no, we had a really good conversation. We talked actually a lot about politics, so we'll get into that too, about some of our
Mm.
upcoming experiment and some of the thoughts people had. But we just had a good time. I think like what's interesting, why I brought this up to like navigating current dating, I think the part I like at like one of my friends like texted me after was like, how was it? And I'm like, I think it was good, but there was like no social cues for dating. You know how like you're
Right.
used to like someone either like touching your leg or like playfully
Mm-hmm.
touching your arm or even going in for the kiss at the end. Like
Mm-hmm.
when the date ended, he's like, I would hug you, but like it's just like all of that is gone and it's not any reflection of the connection. It's just very interesting as someone like trying to read it. Like all the cues that we used to read are no longer cues. So
That's fascinating. I didn't really think about that because there's no written code for dating anymore, and
no.
you don't actually know what people are comfortable with.
Yeah,
You
and
have to take several steps back.
also the other thing is we only did 2 drinks, but it was also
Mm.
outdoors and it was pretty chilly that night. And poor guy, I commend him for this. He got his 4 wisdom teeth out the night before and he still came to the date. He
What a good
just I
sport.
know, he
That's a good
couldn't
boy.
I know, he could
What a good boy.
now we're resorting to puppy play from the week before.
Sorry, can't shake it.
But yeah, he
Wow.
got 4 wisdom teeth, so he couldn't actually drink any alcoholic beverages and he
Oh.
couldn't eat anything that was hard, like
Oh
any
my gosh.
so he basically had like a virgin mojito and he
And a
had
smoothie.
like a dessert because that was like the only they didn't even have soup at the place. So I mean, that's the thing is like he did like kind of cut it at 2 drinks. Like I went to the bathroom and came back and was like, I hope you don't mind. Like I got the check.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things that I'm like, I don't know how to read into that. Like it could literally be nothing, or it could have been like, I want to wrap it up, you know?
Have you ever
So
had your wisdom teeth pulled?
yeah,
Do you
it's
remember how
painful.
painful it
That's why
was the
I'm
day
shocked.
after?
I told him, I was like, I'm so surprised you're here right now. And like I it really is really nice that you're here right now.
The
I mean,
fact that he made it through 2
yeah,
drinks.
exactly. That's the thing too. Yeah.
He is a hero. I don't think
Yeah.
I would have made it through 1 drink without
Totally.
swearing.
Exactly. So, yeah, no, it was I think like we've talked since. We don't haven't like set up another date. I would definitely go on another date with him. Like I really enjoyed his company and personality and he was just seemed like a really good guy. So there's nothing that like there. Would I say it was like the most intense connection I've ever had? No, but also I don't know if that's like just circumstantial too. So anyways, I'm open. I think I'm in the best place where things are. It's like I'm open, but I'm also like, if things don't work out, I wouldn't be devastated. But I really think that's how everything should be at this stage. Like, not to say that you can't get excited about someone, but the reality is, I did meet this guy for what, 2 hours? Like, I don't
Mhm.
know much about him. He doesn't know much about me.
Yeah, and that's kind of the conundrum with casual dating to begin with is you don't like there's just no book or guide that was written for
No.
what this means and what to do next. So what do you think will happen next?
I mean, so I actually, this is kind of funny as I realized that most of our communication actually was through Hinge. Like we never took it to text
Oh,
because Hinge does video and phone calls and he had an Android. So we couldn't do FaceTime. And I really don't want to be setting up Zoom meetings for dates. It just
no.
feels so formal. So basically, we were going to use WhatsApp, but then we saw that you could do everything through Hinge now, which is actually great to not
That
have
is
to like
great.
give your number. And the video quality was pretty good and everything. So, but I realized like after like all of our communication was through this app. So I was like, I don't even know if I have this guy's number and vice versa, which I've never gone into a date like that before. So I just like sent him a message like the next day and was just like, I had a really fun time. Like, I realized we never exchanged like contact info. So if you want, like, I'm like, if you want to chat or hang out again, like, here's my number. And he like replied, like, he had a great time too. And like, that we could use, like, he asked if I'd like WhatsApp again. So, anyways, it's like there's been a conversation. So I think where I'm at is like I've kind of put it in, like I've shared that I had a good time. I
Yeah,
shared that I'm open again, and if he follows up, great. And if he doesn't, then on to the next.
right, right. And you're not, I guess the connection wasn't deep enough for you to ask him out.
I mean, I kind of like put it out there, like I would, like I had a good time, like I
Well,
would
it's
do.
like this is typical female speak that
Yeah,
men
true,
hate, right? They're like, you
true.
put it out there, but you didn't though. You know, you said you had a good time, but that's not you wanting to hang out.
Yeah, it's this is like the existential debate, I swear to God. And I'm like someone that is so like pro, like take charge of things. But at the same time, like I do want someone that is gonna like, oh my God, how loud.
Titty fuck part 3.
Oh, you need to hold this. I need to hold the base.
We're
Grip
like
it.
we're just so hacky with the way we're holding our microphones right now. I'm like double
Uh,
fisting, Julie's titty fucking hers. It's
we
like,
had to get this out, but
but the sound is impeccable. So you're
hopefully
welcome, listeners. You're
we
welcome.
we will get a better setup by next week.
I'm losing feelings in my arms because I'm propping them up. This is talk. Okay,
But yeah,
yes,
where was I? So I was
yes.
saying how,
You want someone to take charge and to also ask you out, but I would challenge that by asking you how much do you want to see him again? On a scale 1 to 10, 10's like I can't wait to see him again. 1's like I really don't.
I would say probably between like a 5 to 7.
That's a hard place to be in because you're kind of like, could it would be
Yeah,
nice. I wouldn't hate it, but if it doesn't happen, I'm not like whatever.
right. Well, I feel like there was like more of a friend vibe that was given
Mm,
off, but we did talk about politics for a really long time, and maybe I don't know. It's really hard not to talk about politics right now, given
right.
where we are. But I don't know if I would necessarily. I think it's good for to hear people out and what their values are and all that, but I don't know if we got to like a deeper place. Like I could have had that conversation potentially with anyone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, like I'm totally open to doing another date. I enjoyed his company, but would I be devastated if we never saw each other again? No. But it was a great first date back out there.
Yeah. That's good. Makes you want to go on more socially
Totally.
distanced dates.
I know I kind of like forgot how to date. Actually, one of our we did something in our Facebook group this week of like what dating term describes how your love life is
Yeah.
right now, and we
That's a good
actually made
question.
them into terms. So we have this new terms on the website, so you can check that out too. And one of them that someone put, I put this name to it, so I feel very proud of this, but it was like someone's like, "Oh, everything is new for the first time again with dating."
Mm.
So I called it the born again dater, like
Yeah, I
instead
was
of
gonna
like the
say
born
sounds like a
again
born again.
virgin. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's how I felt, like the born again dater, just
I
taking it all
also
in.
I also feel like, at least hearing it from my single friends, you almost forgot all the problems you had with dating because it's
Yeah.
been so long that these problems are reappearing, like the whole texting black hole or like not hearing from them. And then suddenly they become new problems.
Because you were like, oh, I'm so out of practice on how to handle
Yeah,
this.
how do
Yeah.
I deal with
Yeah.
this again? Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy that I haven't had like I mean, I did have like a mini relationship back in the picture. So it wasn't like, it was a little circumstantial outside of COVID, but it is kind of crazy. Like, I haven't really been super dating since like before
Mm-hmm.
March, which is before COVID really took
Mm-hmm.
over. And I think a lot of people are on that boat,
Yeah, and some for longer because I know a lot of people are on a dating
right?
sabbatical beginning of the year, being like,
Right.
I'll save March for when I really
Right.
get back out
Right.
there when it's spring.
So,
And then March hits, they're like, fuck my
right.
life.
It's like I need to, in January, it's always like your New Year's
Yeah,
resolution, your 2020 vision board. How many of us
yeah,
had that fucking 2020 vision that
yeah,
went to shit, right?
absolutely. It just shows you can't really plan for anything.
I
That's for
think though
sure.
we did want to talk about this too, but we put it out to everyone that we're going to do a political experiment that we've been
Mm-hmm.
wanting to do is have two people with differing political views get together on a date and see how, like, can you fall in love, or maybe not in love after date one, but at least want to pursue this person as a romantic prospect, even when you know that you have totally different views than them.
And this doesn't mean that we're looking for a hardcore Trump supporter. You can both be supporting the same candidates, but have very differing political views on policy, on just overall beliefs. So I think for anyone who thinks that we're trying to get a Trump supporter and a non Trump supporter together, we all know that's a little difficult, but it's just two people who may see some things a little bit differently.
Even though, okay, so I am not a Trump supporter. I've made that very clear on this. That being said, I have talked to Trump supporters during this time. And I think one of the things I've learned and why I think we really should be doing this is that just because you're a Trump supporter doesn't mean that you're racist and all the things that we like
Right.
think. Of course, there are Trump supporters that are racist. I'm not saying that there aren't, but it's not like it doesn't automatically make you all of the things that Trump is just because you support him. There are people that do support him for other reasons, whether you agree with it or not, like that's up to you. But I think the danger is when we make these super blanket statements, and it's
Yeah.
not just Democrats doing that to Republicans, it is certainly the other side too. Like, there's some crazy ass shit on the internet. And I witnessed some of this firsthand because I went to some Republican Facebook groups this weekend to try to recruit. That's how dedicated I am to finding the best guests that we can. I joined Rational Republicans, which, by the way, was not so rational because
What
they
a
so
name.
I posted and I said full on, I was like, moderator, if this is not cool, like feel free to take it down or not post it. It not only didn't, it went through admin approval and they approved it.
Oh, but
So
someone flagged
someone
it.
physically looked at it and approved it. And then someone got all on my high and mighty saying how inappropriate it was and all this stuff. And I'm like, with all due respect, they did approve it and they said that it was okay to post it. And it's just like the comments on that, the comments even on Instagram on our posts of just how extreme people are. Like, this is why our country is divided.
And that's exactly what we don't want to have in this experiment is extremist views, even though I know that extremist people would not want to be part of this experiment anyway. We're not looking for two people to fight. We're just looking for a intelligent conversation. And that's why another requirement is it's not just opposing political beliefs, but we also want people who are very well versed in politics and who are
Yeah.
knowledgeable about politics. So it's not just like I hate you because you're a Trump supporter.
Right, or you're a racist, etc. But
Yeah.
vice versa. I think also it's gonna be like that, like you kind of said, like you're gonna there's natural selection of who even opts into this in the
Mhm.
first place. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're trying to bring people together and not make it like freaking every other news outlet or bad Reddit board that you can find. So
Yeah, that's not the and the goal is still dating. This is
Right.
not a presidential debate. Okay.
Right, right. We actually probably won't even be airing like everyone's like last view on
No.
everything. It's more just, you know how we've done the he said, she said of just perspective of the date. That's where we're going with it. So
Yes.
anyways, I have got it. We did get a lot of people though that did reach out and said, I'm really glad that you guys are doing this. There's such a bad divide right now. It will bring to light more just truths in it, how not everyone is like an extreme left or extreme right.
Hmm.
And I think that is what we're going with. And again, if you did get offended by this, that was not the intention. So of course you are always welcome to skip episodes, but we do hope that you listen because I think the intention is to make things more connection, not further that divide.
Yeah. Thank you all for the DMs and the feedback. We always read those and we really appreciate them. We also read all of our reviews. Guess what? It's true, especially if you give us a 5-star rating in Apple Podcasts. We read all of those and then we find you on Facebook and stalk you. Just kidding. No, we can't do that
Do you
from a
want to scare
username.
people from doing
I'm not trying
reviews?
to scare them. We already scared them with the titty fucking. I can't scare them with this
That's true.
virtual
If they're still
stalking.
here,
If
they're
you're
still
still
here. They're
here,
like, sign me up for some virtual stalking.
yeah, even like you're still listening, either because you're still interested and you like us, thank you, or you're like my friend Yanwei who fell asleep to an episode he was listening to, not ours, but ours is in his
Okay.
rotation. He fell asleep to something and woke up to us talking about something very inappropriate at like 3 a.m. He's
Wait,
like,
which
what am I listening
episode? I
to?
want to hear this. That sounds like a story all in itself. Maybe that needs to come at the live stream. I think you might
He's
need
like,
to drop that
no, this is a
story.
nightmare. It's happening.
That's hilarious.
Yes, but reviews, we really appreciate them because it helps us get really good guests. It helps
Mhm.
us support the podcast. You're supporting independent artists and content makers. So it's just really, I think it's a way to pay it forward as well. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's just 5 stars, takes 5 seconds. And then if you want to leave us a nice little note, we love that too. And thank you for all of you who've already done that. We really appreciate it.
It really
And
makes when we're fiddling with our microphones a lot more pleasant that we remember that one, we are helping people every day, and two,
we should
you
make it, Julie,
know.
that every 100 reviews we get, we upgrade our microphone.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we upgraded it and then COVID hit. So that was a thing is we need a virtual setup more, but we'll get there.
And everyone's years hear different things.
Oh, and every player is different.
Every player is different. I mean, I'm noticing this with even just this microphone right now. I sound very different to myself, and I'm acting a little strange because of it. But every year is different, and you hear yourself differently, and your loved ones hear you differently. It's really weird how our years work, but a good microphone does help facilitate the story. So we will keep upgrading as long as we get those reviews in. It's a
Yeah.
promise from us.
Yeah. Help us get to 500. That's the
Yeah,
goal.
we're at 300, so we're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. Almost there. We know there's more of you out there. We know that.
More. And maybe after this episode,
Oh, it's gonna be a
there'll
good
be
one.
more because this episode, I mean, okay, so this episode is with Sherry Gaba, who is a celebrity therapist, I guess you could call her. And she has worked with a ton of celebrities as well as non-celebrities about love addiction, really.
Yeah. Well, she was on Celebrity Rehab, which with Dr. Drew. I don't know if anyone remembers that VH1 show, but I definitely remember that show.
Oh, shit show. I mean, a good show, but showing a lot of shit show. Yes. So it's like celebrities, they're just like us. They're just as fucked as we are. Oh, this microphone just almost fell on me. Uh, but she is so interesting for this topic in particular because she's been married many times. And she claims, or I guess she is a self-professed love addict herself.
Mhm.
And after speaking with her, I think Julie and I both found kind of symptoms in ourselves on how
Totally.
we could also be love addicts. And there's nothing wrong with it, but it's also about how it helps you. They're like coping mechanisms to help to help you navigate like the challenges, the heartbreak, the disappointment that comes with being addicted to falling in love and that feeling of being in love.
I think it's also just like everything is okay in moderation, but it's the excessiveness that becomes problematic. And that's like other addictions you think of with like gambling or sex or drinking or even like food addiction, right? Like you have to eat to physically be healthy, but it becomes problematic when that's consuming every last thought you have. So I think what she was saying here in her book, Love Smacked, which was super good. We read that before doing the interview. So definitely recommend it. It's out now. And I was reading it and I'm like, okay, I definitely have some of these symptoms for sure. And I
Yep.
don't think I'm like full blown relationship or love addict. I think maybe she kind of diagnosed me more as a romance addict
Yeah.
than a relationship addict. But I do think, regardless of where you fall on this spectrum, there's always opportunities to like, get more confident in yourself, because I think this all does come down to self-confidence. And I mean, honestly, what I was saying about the date, like that I could kind of go either way and I'm really not stressing about it. Like there was a point in my life that I definitely stressed about, like if someone would text me back, even if I was a 5 to 7, like
Absolutely.
I would freak out like if I didn't get that second date, and I would measure it against my self-worth. And I think having that confidence that like, yeah, you're obviously open and want good things to happen, and it doesn't mean that like love is an essential part of life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have love in your life, but it also is staying true to yourself and not letting it like overtake you and, just completely dismiss everything else going on in your life.
It's related to our would you rather from a few weeks ago of would you fast forward to love
Mhm.
5 years from now, or would you stay put and live those 5 years? And our takeaway was finding love isn't the only thing in life. It's a beautiful thing, it's a beautiful part of life, but you can't sacrifice some of the other experiences you have just to find love.
Right. And I think also it's you attract like attracts like. So if
Hmm.
you're feeling insecure, you're going to attract insecure partners and just set up relationships that aren't set up for success. So I think just all of this, like I firmly believe it is the internal work that really does make people truly dateable. Not to say the external hacks can't help, but the internal work is essential.
And it's about falling in love with yourself too. That
Yes.
may sound really corny for some people, but for anybody who's been through that journey, you know that falling in love encompasses more than just your partner. You
Oh,
have to fall in
totally.
love with yourself first before you love someone else. Anyway, but here's a real therapist, Sherry.